Hey everybody, Matt from Eastwood. We're here in the Eastwood garage doing a live tech session for you guys. Been a little while since I've been in here to do one with you guys. So if you haven't watched one of these before, we make it as interactive as possible. So we have today filling in for our beloved Scotty C. We have Randy.
I would don't know if I would call it filling in at this point. I think this is like 3 weeks in a row that he's abandoned us. So, but yeah, if you have any questions you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, all you have to do is post them, and I'll throw them over to Matt so he can answer them for you.
So thanks, Randy. Today we're doing just a real quick little tip on sanding welds if you guys are trying to get into welds or sand parts that are really difficult to get into and sand and finish out some parts. Decided to do a little one showing kind of the process how I do it, and there's a couple handy tools that make it really quick and not as tedious as it can be. So I have just a little motor mount that I've been fabricating, and I want to sand out all these welds that are in these crevices here to get them nice and smooth so that when they're painted or powder coated, you won't see the welds that'll just all flow together and kind of look like an old cast part. So the first thing I like to use, we have our Carbide Bits over here. I'll bring them for Joe. So we have a Carbide Bit set, 1/4 inch set, that'll fit in your die grinder. These are really good for if you want to take off material quickly. They come in a bunch of different sizes here and shapes. And these are what work really well for taking a lot of material off. If you're doing sanding welds, you can do porting and polishing, all sorts of stuff with this. But I use this a ton for sanding out welds and working detail areas in it. Now these are very aggressive, so this is going to move a lot of material quickly. So this is kind of the first step, but you got to be kind of careful with it. So we'll show you that one first, and I'll hit up just some of these little areas here, and then we'll show you the next kind of step of the process. So I'm going to try not to get in Joe's way here. So you can see just that quick, taking out the weld, the major part of the weld, but as I mentioned, it's really aggressive. I'm going to get on the other side here so Joe can get a better shot. And be careful, you're going to take away too much material. So, oops, pop their air hose off. Trying to get around Joe here. So you get rid of a major area where you can see, the defined areas of the beads are taken away. And then what we have here is this is a new little gadget we have here. By gadget, I mean die grinder. This thing's awesome. It's a tiny little micro pencil size die grinder. So this uses 1/8 inch mandrel bits in it, and it has a little adjustment switch on it that makes it a lot more controllable, that you can rotate the bottom here, and you can adjust your speed and work some of these detail areas. So I worked that little area there. It's really aggressive with those Carbide Bits. It puts a lot of scratches in it. So with this, you can come back and use these little bits that are here. The best thing is this little guy is only 20 bucks. So it's a nice little addition to your toolbox. And see here, you just twist this. And you can ramp up the speed. It goes all the way up to 54,000 RPM. Sounds really fast. So a lot more controllable. You can see with the die grinder with the 1/4 inch, if you didn't have it quite right, it actually kind of throws it out of your hands and bucks when you're working on a complex shape like this. So I'm just going to work that little area I sanded before. And you can see we smoothed that area out, a lot more controllable because it has that adjustment there. It's a nice 1-2 punch when you use the two of these. So that's how I can quickly smooth that area, and we can go back and forth and work them really quickly and easily. And I'll get a close-up here of the, like I said, of the, I don't know if we got it or not, but there's no trigger on this. It's actually just an adjustable little sleeve here. And another nice thing it has on this, because these can be, these definitely need oil and lubrication. So there's actually a little lubricator oiler here that you put some of your compressor oil, or I'm sorry, your air tool oil in, and that's going to feed a little bit of the oil into the airline as you're using it, which is going to lubricate the tool. Because it is so small, there's not an area where you can drop the oil into it. Any questions before I go back to doing a little more heavy sanding here?
Sorry, well, I wasn't paying attention. I was watching an Eastwood guy video. This guy's great. There's one where he's cutting a soup can with a plasma, and then there's just what I'm watching is a spoof on the Mean Joe, that old Mean Joe Green Coke commercial, and his dude's like, "Yo, man, you're great at welding." He's like, "Yeah, I know," and then he's like, "You're great at everything." He's like, "Yeah." Well, anyway, you just gotta watch it. If you just Google Eastwood guy, you'll see it. But well, yeah, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what the problem is. You just gotta search for it. But yeah, actually, the questions are, where can you get it at, and how much does it cost? It's a great deal today, and there is a link in the description on YouTube and Facebook. It'll take you right to the page.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I
gotta get back to watching these Eastwood guy videos.
the pencil die grinder, like I said, it's $20. It's cheap enough. It comes in a kit that comes with, like I said, the lubricator and the wrenches and everything, and then it also has a bunch of these little mandrels in here that you can use for different sizes, get in different areas. And then of course you can purchase any 1/8 inch bit is going to fit that you can use, so you can upgrade from there once you have the tool, and you can keep going and find ones that work for you. But having that little guy is really nice. Like I said, it's really controllable, not quite as aggressive as using this, but these do work well. It's just they're, like I said, they take a lot of material off quick. Change over to our little pencil micro die grinder here, and I'll hit that little area in here. It's on the other side. So I took out real quick with that on the, you're probably gonna have to be from where I'm at, Joe. We're gonna flip-flop here. And right in here is that little area that I hit real quick. So I knocked it out, took the majority of the weld out, but it starts to get hard to finish it out from there, and it gets really uneven if you press too hard. So we can keep the speed down a little bit on this. And really finesse the weld in the area we're working. So it gives a nice area there that's finished, and when you go to paint and powder coat that's all going to flow in really, really nicely, and it's going to look like one continuous part. So this works good for this. If you're doing something where you're smoothing out casting marks in a part, aluminum, or even a cast iron manifold or something like that, you can use these as a 1-2 punch. Like I said, use your die grinder with the Carbide Bits, and then you can use the micro pencil die grinder to finish everything up, getting those tight crevices, and it works really, really well. And like I said, it's really controllable. So for $20, you can't beat it. It's definitely a nice addition to my toolbox since we've come out with it. Any other questions? That was just a quick.
Yeah, we got a
quick little
couple more.
Sure.
I'll throw them at you at once. One is what material were you grinding, steel
Sure.
or aluminum? And two is, and you may have mentioned this, is that variable speed?
Yeah, so the part we're working with is steel. This is just something I fabricated out of just plain mild steel. And the part, I did go into it a little bit, but it is variable, so I'll do it for you guys again here. I'll turn the trigger, or the sleeve here. So it goes just a little under 90 degrees. So we can go from a lower RPM all the way up to 54,000 RPM. It can make the dogs bark, the neighborhood dogs bark. But yeah, that's really high RPM, but it is variable. We can go all the way down nice and slow. So I was running it fairly slow because I was doing detail work, but you can turn it all the way up. Other nice thing is this only requires 4 CFM at 90 PSI, so it doesn't take a huge compressor to run the tool, which is really nice. And as long as you're not running it wide open like that, even if you have a smaller compressor, it should be able to keep up with that no problem, which is really nice. So that was it for questions.
I have one more.
Sure.
Okay, Eddie asked, and if Eddie, it just popped up, and maybe you'll know the answer, maybe you can clarify. Do you think this will help gauge small welds? Do you know what he means by that?
Maybe he meant gouge.
Gouge. Ah,
yeah.
yes.
I'm guessing
Yes.
is what he would mean. Yeah, for gouging small welds, it would work really well. Like I said, the bits that come with this are more of a they're more for finishing rather than gouging welds out. So if you use, that's like I said, I like to use the larger 1/4-inch die grinder with the carbide mandrels to gouge. So if you want to get in there, like I have to work in some of these corners here and gouge out to give it a rounded shape to it, I will gouge out with the for this. You can also use this if you're prepping something to weld. I use these as well if I'm repairing like a cast iron manifold or something like that I want to gouge out to get ready to do a repair. Since these remove so much material, they're really nice to use for that. So that's why I can't stress enough, having the two of these together makes it pretty nice, because this will remove a lot of material quick, but when you start getting to the point where you want to do detail work, the little 1/8-inch pencil die grinder is going to do a lot better job and be a lot more controlled. So yeah, that's a good question. That's it. Cool, so that's all I got, just a real quick one for you guys, something you need to add to your toolbox, especially for the cost. So as always, if you guys have any questions or other topics that you would like us to cover for a tech video, drop us a line in the messages or the comments, and we'll do our best to make a video for you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.